What's on, everyone? Jerry here from the Quartering, and we have some issues, some kind of concerning issues, at least in my opinion, as last night and, well, late afternoon and later into the evening, the vote to release the files basically went through overwhelmingly, something like 400 to 1 in the first release, and then overwhelmingly in the second, basically because both sides have been using this list for their own kind of propaganda wars against the other side. So really, when it came down to voting whether or not they could release it, they didn't have any choice, except two things that are very concerning to me. First, the words of House Speaker Mike Johnson being, quote, deeply concerned about these files being a issue with national security, which I would argue is a kind of an issue in and of itself. And also the fact that our fate, the fate of transparency, now lies ultimately on Pam Bondi, the same woman that proposed hate speech laws, the same woman who has executed absolutely zero arrests of any of the corruption for what Trump was when he was running for president. She's basically done nothing except appear on Fox News. And I guess she acted pretty quickly when when Tesla chargers were under attack, and that was a good thing. But for the most part, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, I guess to a lesser public extent, Dan Bongino, these are some of the biggest letdowns in the Trump administration so far. There's time. Now, I think Kash Patel is just cooked when you're assigning taxpayer-funded protection teams to your girlfriend, not your wife, your girlfriend. I'm not sure there's any coming back from that. Dan, I hope, is still fighting the good fight behind the scenes. Pam, I just don't know about her, and I am not optimistic. But let's get into a couple of these clips. First of all, this is Mike Johnson saying that he was, quote, deeply disappointed in the fact that the bill passed. Here's Thomas Massie writing, yesterday the House did the people's will by voting overwhelmingly to release the files, which, good, right? That's what we want. After Mike Johnson's 5-month-long obstruction, I don't know about that, his last hope was that the Senate would insert a loophole to destroy the intent of the bill, but the Senate was having none of it. Now, I thought Mike Johnson had been doing pretty good, but here is him talking about the bill passing yesterday.
Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I am deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I'm told I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively.
Good. This is what the American people want. What a lot of even Republican lawmakers don't understand is that I don't care if Republicans are on the list. I don't care if Democrats are on the list. I don't care if Thomas Massie's on the list, or whatever. I don't care. Rand Paul could be on the list. One of the most universally loved politicians. I don't care. I want it out.
It needed amendments.
No, it didn't.
I spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see. I was standing there with the Crown Prince. We couldn't call.
Are you frustrated in the majority leader? Are you upset with the majority leader?
This is very concerning, as, there's allusions to. Now, he said, do you think Trump will veto it? I don't think Trump can veto it. If Trump vetoes this thing, that'll be the end. I've been staunchly in the camp of this whole MAGA is dead nonsense is just bluster. It's boredom. The news cycle's slow. There's a lot of nonsense to talk about. But again, now the bill faces the bill has passed now, grants Attorney General Pam Bondi the authority to, quote, withhold or redact any material that could, quote, endanger national security or jeopardize an active federal investigation. Now, this is the same bologna sausage that we were fed about Thomas Matthew Crooks from Kash Patel specifically, that they couldn't release everything they knew about him because there were active investigations. What active investigations? The guy's dead. I don't really know what active investigation could be going on. Why it took a leak for us to find out that, no, the guy wasn't a Trump supporter. In fact, during the coup, he apparently started transitioning. At least that's what the messages look like to me. So you're seeing a lot of the jokes going around, you know, the famous never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down redaction versions. I mean, this is a huge concern for me. Also, a massive concern that in a pathetic move, the U.S. House rejected censuring Democrat Stacey Plaskett over her collusion with Jeffrey to harm Donald Trump in 2019. In fact, there were 5 or 6 Republicans that refused. Every Democrat voted to protect her. You discussed America. Dems, you're in leagues with Jeffrey, and you got exposed. Also, 3 Republicans crossed the aisle for Plaskett. 3 Democrats did not vote. Apparently, there's also 4 Republicans that did not vote, while the vote failed by a total of 7 votes. This is, 3 nays and this is why the Republicans have so much trouble winning. The Democrats know how to fall in line, right? They're just like, nah, everyone will vote against it. The Republicans always have 1 or 2 people that are like, man, my principle, which I understand. This is why Thomas Massie gets a lot of heat. But at the end of the day, like, I'm sorry if this is wrong. This is just who I am. I'm about winning and losing. And the 3 Republicans that didn't vote, and the three Republicans that voted nay, 3 Republicans voted present, and 5 Republicans didn't vote. Those 8 votes were enough to win this. Those 8 votes were enough to censure a Democrat who was actively working with Jeffrey live during a trial, and they either didn't vote or decided to vote present. This is why you don't just need a majority. If Democrats have a majority, right? If they need 216 votes, they get 216 votes. That's what always happens. Republicans, when they need 215 votes, they get 208 because 5 didn't vote. 3 voted president and 5 didn't vote. Those 8 people vote yay, it wins. If 7 of those 8 people vote yay, it wins. This is a major problem. Now, the files bill is heading to Trump's desk after clearing the final hurdles in Congress, could be signed today. The House on Wednesday formally sent the Senate the bill that would force the Justice Department to release the files related to Jeffrey. The final procedural move before the legislation can be sent to President Trump after the House bill after it passed House 427-1, the Senate approved the bill unanimously before it could be even formally transmitted to the lower chamber. With the transmission of the bill Wednesday morning, the bill is formally considered passed and now heads to the president's desk for his signature. Mr. Trump, who had initially expressed opposition to the release of the files, is expected to sign the measure into law after he changes tune Sunday and urge Republicans to vote in favor of the bill. Now, here's how the left is already spinning this. Okay, the left is already spinning this by saying, well, they were really never anything anyway. They were really never anything anyway. Here we go, already Wired. How Donald Trump lost control of the Jeffrey files spin cycle. Trump has spent years benefiting from the Q's Jeffrey obsession. That's all changing. Wait, are you saying the Democrats that have all been obsessed with the files for the past 2 weeks, they're all the same thing as the Q? Now they're desperately trying to downplay everything. By the way, I wanted to go back to this clip, but I forgot it. Here's Stacey Plaskett digging her hole even deeper on her ties to Jeffrey. Here, listen to this. And again, remember that 8 Republicans either voted present or chose not to vote on whether or not to censure this woman.
I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having
no
a
regrets.
friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have. And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do.
Oh, yeah, of course. We should all just move forward. I mean, yeah. Obviously, we should move forward. We don't want anybody getting out there and asking any questions.
Is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise.
Wait, he had already been convicted when you were texting back and forth with him, though, Stacey.
Or his financial enterprise, or all of those things. I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that.
Yeah.
What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender, and
Correct.
it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can. I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, this is the woman that Republicans chose not to censure yesterday. All they would have had to do is get their poo in a group, and they could have censored this. Now, of course, they're letting the left suddenly rewrite everything on Jeffrey, saying, oh, well, we never really cared about this. Here's Marissa Hanson. We need to pull Pam Bondi out of her attorney general position before she redacts every single Jeffrey document and get someone in there who isn't tied to any of his associates whatsoever. This is obviously the big concern. And you also hear Hakeem Jeffries like, well, Bondi may seek to block the disclosure if any kind of law is enacted. If Pam Bondi moves to block this release, it will destroy. I mean, I think she's basically already cooked, but like that's just it for her. That's just it. We're done with her. I don't know. I need Trump to sign this thing, and we need to get Pam Bondi to release it ASAP so we can talk about more important things like a stock trading ban, which most Americans actually agree with. I hope you enjoyed this video or informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.